Today, the Minneapolis mayor and police chief announced they are adding patrols to some crime hotspots. The extra teams will be in North and South Minneapolis every day starting this weekend through Labor Day.
The cost to the city is expected to be up to $300,000 in overtime. 4 officers and a supervisor will be added to both North and South Minneapolis. While much of the attention in recent weeks has focused on North Minneapolis, the mayor says the chief asked her to split the resources because of a jump in robberies in South Minneapolis. Esme Murphy joins us now. Of course, we've heard a lot about these problems on the north side, but how bad are these robberies on the south side?
You know, Liz and Frank, they're actually pretty bad. Year to date, robberies in the 3rd precinct, especially along Lake Street, are up 30%. That's why the 10 officers will be split between North and South Minneapolis, but not everyone agrees with that decision. The Minneapolis Police Federation's Sergeant John Delmonico says he believes all 10 additional officers should have been put in North Minneapolis to curb gun violence there. But the mayor and police chief say the increase in robberies in South Minneapolis, especially in the area of Lake Street in Chicago, is too significant to ignore.
We're going to add beats. We're going to have officers on foot beat and bike beat in those areas. We're going to add the visible presence in the hot spots.
Additional patrols along Lake Street are welcome news for residents like Annie Hudson.
I think it's a good idea because it'll stop the robberies and the crime around this area, and then if they see the police, they know they better run.
On the north side, the added officers will focus on curbing gun violence. Weapons-related offenses in the 4th precinct are up 17% over last year.
These 4 officers and supervisors will respond primarily to shots fired calls, be able to knock on doors of residents and say, "Did you see anything?"
The chief says added patrols in hotspots the past 2 weeks have resulted in drops in violent crime. But to keep that trend going, the mayor and the chief say the additional officers, along with the added overtime costs, are needed.
The estimate that we've gotten from the finance department is between $250,000 and $300,000.
I think it's needed to sustain it, and not only that, we want to be ahead of it.
Now, the 2 council members who represent portions of North Minneapolis, Barb Johnson and Blong Yang, say the news is welcome, but they also say it is not enough. Johnson says the city is currently budgeted for 850 officers and currently only has 779, and the city could afford to pay even more overtime for even more cops on the street.
And as you said, this plan really only lasts through Labor Day, but there are plans to get that number back up to 850, right?
There are plans to get that plan up to 850, Liz. Over the next few weeks and months, new officers are being added. Minneapolis should be back to 850 cops on the beat sometime next year.
All right, it'll be a while. Thank you, Esme.